What if I told you that confidence is actually overrated? It's not really confidence that changes your life, it's curiosity. If you think back to the times when you walked into rooms trying to look confident versus the times when you showed up curious, I'm sure you notice a difference between the two. It's around my birthday, and I, of course, am in a reflective mood, as I always am. I can't even blame it on my birthday. I'm always reflecting. In this video, I want to talk about how curiosity is actually one of the biggest superpowers that we need to tap into. I'm not going to say that confidence does not matter, but I think we also need to tap into our curiosity. Confidence is you being self assured, you being very certain, you kind of coming off as if you know it all. You are very confident in what is going to happen and what it is. There's nothing wrong with that, but we need to have a little bit of curiosity. Being curious means being open, asking questions, exploring. What prompted me to think about this is I'm watching Love Island. I think that we really value the islanders who are curious. That's the purpose of the show. That's what they're always talking about. But you're not open to getting to know new people. Those couples who are so confident that they are stable and they are the primary couple that is going to make it to the end, those are the couples everyone tends to question because it's like, well, how do you know that this is your right couple? Aren't you curious about the other people? And then it gets a little fishy, right? And then you have somebody like Ace saying your relationship is fake. So Love Island plus birthday got me to this point of creating this video. Confidence says, I know. Curiosity says, I want to know, right? Curiosity prompts some type of process, and you know I love a good process. I want you to ask yourself, which one do you think really leads to growth? The person that says I know, or the person that says I want to know? We are taught to chase confidence. I say it all the time, right? We've heard the term fake it till you make it. When you try to exude confidence without curiosity, it comes off performative and ego based. If you don't care to know any other context outside of what's going on, or even attempt to learn more about a certain situation, and I know I'm speaking very broadly, I'm going to break it down to more specific things later. But if you don't have an air of curiosity about yourself, then you are missing out on a lot of things. The reason I say you're going to miss out on a lot of things is because just as we feel we are confident in the right things to do, we can also be confident in the wrong things to do. We can be so confident that things won't work out, so we just don't even attempt it. We can be so confident that this is the right step, so we take that step and we never look left, we never look right, we never really question things. So that is what I mean by you're missing out on a lot of things. Confidence can definitely open up so many doors for us, but I feel like curiosity can open the door, right? Because you're not focused on one particular option. You are keeping your options open. When I think back to conversations that I've had with people, whether it's interviews or a conversation with a person I'm just getting to know, when I presented myself as curious and actually asked questions, then there was more of a connection built. The truth is, we can be afraid to appear curious because appearing curious requires you to ask questions. It requires you to admit that you don't know everything. Not knowing is not a bad thing. Not knowing is a wonderful thing. I have two very specific examples of when I wanted to appear confident and when that backfired, and when I showed up with curiosity and that worked in my favor. Two job interviews. On one job interview, I remember the interviewer used a term that I did not know, but I was so hell bent on appearing like I was the perfect person for this job. I was going to get it done. I knew everything. I had read all the books. I read all the articles. I was up to date with everything. And she asked me this question, a term I had never heard before. I took a moment and I thought about what all of the words meant together. And then I answered the question to the best of my ability, right? Just piecing it together. When I got out of the interview and I looked it up because I knew I didn't know what that was. And even the way she responded to me, I can tell I answered the question wrong because she was like, okay, sis, go off. I wasn't going to ask her, what does that mean? Because if I asked her, what does that mean? I felt like I would appear unqualified for the job. Got out of the job interview, looked up what this term meant, Thought back to my answer and realized, wow, I answered completely wrong. I'm not getting this job. I did not get that job. I knew I wasn't going to get that job, especially after looking up what the term meant and how I answered it. I'm not going to share it because I'm too embarrassed right now. Now, that was me appearing confident. I wanted to show this person I know what I am talking about. I got it. Another job interview I had, the interviewer used a word that I didn't know. I had never heard the word before. Instead of me faking it, I asked her, "What does that word mean? I've never heard that before." She answered the question. And at the end of the interview, she told me, "I really appreciate you asking me to clarify what this word means. That means a lot. It shows that you're curious and want to learn more, and you don't pretend to know all the answers and will seek out help." That played a big role in me getting that particular job. So ask the question, be curious, don't be afraid to look stupid. As much as they say there are no dumb questions, I think there can be dumb questions. I am not going to be the person to tell you there are no dumb questions, especially if you looked at my video about my toxic traits. I believe in dumb questions, but there are questions that are okay to ask. Now, I want to dive into 4 reasons why curiosity will always win over confidence. Number one is that curiosity fuels sustainable growth. Think about it this way: confidence can be like a battery, it's fully charged at one point and it dies. You have to buy a new battery to replace that old battery. Let's say that remote is working all day long. The battery is going to quickly die, right? We are challenging that battery to suck up all of the power from it. But curiosity is something like a rechargeable battery, like our phone, maybe solar power. You're able to recharge it every single time you need to. And I want you to think of this as you're able to learn something new, you're able to adapt to something new. Whoever the most confident person is in the room, if you are curious, then you are going to continuously grow. The confident person is going to stop with what they know. They're saying, "This is what I know, this is it for me." Versus the curious person, they are going to outlearn, outperform, out adapt that person. Secondly, curiosity is going to build deeper relationships. When you are on a date with someone, you're talking to someone, but I want to talk about dating because I think we all can think back to a date where we had and the guy did not ask any questions, or even Love Island, right? You're talking and the other person is not curious about you at all. When people aren't curious about you, you withdraw. If this person doesn't care to ask me any questions or care to learn anything deeper about what I've already shared, then there's no way we are going to relationship, friendship, any type of dealing with one another. When you're curious, and this also goes for established relationships too, right? You want someone who is going to listen to understand you, not just listen to answer. The next time you have a conversation with someone, maybe show a little curiosity about them. Just a little curiosity. If you already do this, I'm sure those are the relationships that are the strongest in your life when you show curiosity about what other people are going through. Even if it's somebody that you already know, you still want that person to be curious about you. Our days are different, our lives are different. The third reason that curiosity is the true winner is because curiosity is going to breed real confidence. You gain knowledge when you ask questions, when you wonder what the possibilities are, right? That causes your brain to expand. And that is going to build more competence. More competence is going to breed more confidence for you because you earned that confidence through curiosity. It is stable, it is grounded, it is unshakable. Lastly, remaining curious is going to keep this humility about yourself and also make you more magnetic. I think I'm an extremely curious person. I don't want to sound like I'm tooting my own horn right now. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, but here I go. I feel as though I am very magnetic. I think a lot of people are attracted to me. A lot of people want to share information with me. A lot of people can keep conversations going with me. And that is because I am curious. Why do you think he did that? Has that happened before? Tell me more about this. Didn't you say this happened before? I like to engage in conversations with people. I like to dig into conversations. I'm nosy and I like to connect pieces. And I think that me being curious has made me more magnetic. I think that people love doing that. I love that people talk to me all the time. Sometimes I wonder why, and I think thinking about this video has made it clear for me. So in a way, I naturally take the spotlight off myself and turn it onto other people. And other people feel it, and it's not in a bad way, but other people can feel that. And yeah, I'll leave it there. I just named 4 reasons why curiosity is going to outperform confidence any day. And I'm curious if any of those stuck with you. Comment below 1, 2, 3, or 4. And I'll see if I want to dive deeper into one of those in another video. I want to go to my next talking point, which is how to train your curiosity. I said this in, I don't know which video, but I give you all of these mindset things, but without any practical tips, you cannot build the mindset. So let's talk about some practical things that you can embed into your everyday life to build your curiosity muscle. One is to try to learn from every situation that you're in. Sometimes we may go through hardships and we'll ask, why me? Why did this happen to me? It doesn't matter why it happened to you. Think about, what can I learn here rather than why me? You can spend so much time in the world trying to figure out the impossible, and it just won't get you anywhere, because even if you do get to the end of why you are the person in this particular situation, you could have been learning something from it. So approach all of the hardships, good ships, things, everything that happens to you with, what can I learn here? Because every time you go through something, the reason is not for what you think it is. It's not to punish you, for instance. It is to teach you a lesson. But I don't think that I am put on this earth to receive punishments. Maybe the things are punishments, but I take them as lessons and figure out, well, next time this comes up, what can I do differently? Or just a general learning from the thing. Secondly, when you are in conversation with people, ask open-ended questions. How did that make you feel? Have they done that before? What has been your reaction to that in the past? How did you figure that out? Stop asking yes or no questions. People want to talk. Think about the best conversation you've had with your best friend. It was not an exchange of yes and no's. It was a conversation where they asked you a question and then you started talking about something else, and then that led to something else. You can't have a dynamic relationship or a conversation without asking open-ended questions. I think we've gotten to a point where a lot of us have forgotten how to have conversations. And it is annoying. It is very annoying to be in conversation with people sometimes, because I know I'm the one carrying the conversation and they just don't even know what to say. Some of us have lost the art of conversation. So really think about how you can approach that. Next is to be curious about your own feelings. When I feel triggered, I like to stop and think, what is triggering me exactly? Sometimes it is that one little bitty thing. And it doesn't have to be this whole drawn out journal entry. I love to talk about it with my friends. I will call my friend and say, this happened and I'm triggered. I think I'm triggered because she said this, and it makes me think of this. So now I'm being curious about my own feelings. I'm not just assuming the first feeling that I feel is the right feeling or the automatic feeling. I'm really diving into it and figuring out, what is triggering me? Be curious about your own self too, right? I don't want you to just be curious about other people, but also show curiosity about your own self. You are also a dynamic being, not just everyone else. Okay? I don't want you to just be out there giving your curiosity away. Give some of it to yourself. The last thing you can do to really flex this curiosity muscle is try things before perfecting them. Don't be afraid to be a beginner. Don't try to perfect things. Because when you try to perfect something, then you're looking for a 10-step list, right? Here are the 10 check marks I need to be the perfect dancer. Be curious with your dancing. What happens if I try this? What happens if I lean this way? What if I try it this way? What if my arm does this? Do not be afraid to really throw yourself into something and figure it out and be messy. That's a part of being human. Which of these habits are you going to choose? Drop it in the chat for me and let's see. Me being curious has obviously bred this level of confidence, because I always talk about how I'm happy in my life now where I've gotten to this point. I think curiosity was one of those founding blocks. I continue to be curious about things. There will never be a time where I say, I know this is what I know and that's the end of it. I'm always going to want to ask questions. I'm always going to want to learn more. I'm always going to want to know what else is out there. Confidence may get a lot of you into the room, but curiosity is going to keep you there. For some of us, curiosity is the thing that keeps us in the room, and we build up our confidence with more curiosity. So the next time you think, I'm going to fake it till I make it, You probably don't have to do that. It's okay for you to say, oh, what does that mean? Or what happened with that? Do not be afraid to ask a question or admit that you don't know something because that's okay. Thank you for spending some of your time with me today. Let me know what you thought about this video below and share it with a friend who also needs to hear this message. Until then, I hope you have a positively productive, self-loving day. Bye. Mwah.